Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's workshop. This week's workshop topic, we are continuing our interpersonal relationships topic. We're continuing on part 2 today. I just want to remind you all that the watch party feature has now been removed from Facebook, and we will be changing how we present workshops starting next month using Microsoft Teams or Zoom. This month is Sexual Violence Awareness Month, and we will be covering topics on different types of relationships and how to stay safe while building relationships, both personally and professionally. Again, I want to thank you all for participating no matter what time it is. You are all great and we appreciate you. Just to remind you all, workshops are happening every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We also have a YouTube page where we post our videos weekly that any of you may access with a request to do so at any time. Also remember to please like our video after watching it. Now, let's continue on from where we left off on our interpersonal relationships topic from last week, Tuesday. We had finished talking about power and dominance last week and the struggle between those who are more dominant in a relationship and for those who are less dominant in a relationship. Today, we're moving on to the different stages of interpersonal relationships. So, let's get started on the different stages. According to the model, the natural development of a relationship follows 5 stages. These stages are acquaintance and acquaintanceship, build-up, continuation, deterioration, and ending. Sorry, guys. Okay. Acquaintance and acquaintanceship is when becoming acquainted depends on previous relationships, physical closeness, first impressions, and a variety of other factors. If 2 people begin to like each other, continued interactions may lead to the next stage, but acquaintance can continue indefinitely. Another example is association. During the build-up stage, people begin to trust and care about each other. The need for intimacy, compatibility, and such filtering agents as common backgrounds and goals will influence whether or not interaction continues. The continuation stage follows a mutual commitment to quite a strong and close long-term friendship, romantic relationship, or even marriage. It's a generally long, relatively stable period. Nevertheless, continued growth and development will occur during this time. Mutual trust is important for sustaining the relationship. The next stage is deterioration, and not all relationships deteriorate, but those that do tend to show signs of trouble. Boredom, resentment, and dissatisfaction may occur, and individuals may communicate less and avoid self-disclosure. Loss of trust and betrayals may take place as the downward spiral continues, eventually ending the relationship. Alternately, the participants may find some way to resolve the problems and reestablish trust and belief in others, eventually. The final stage marks the end of the relationship, either by breakups, death, or by separation for quite some time, and severing all existing ties of either friendship or romantic love. Friendships may involve some degree of transitivity. In other words, a person may become a friend of an existing friend's friend. However, if 2 people have a sexual relationship with the same person, they may become competitors rather than friends. Accordingly, sexual behavior with the sexual partner of a friend may damage the friendship. Sexual activities between 2 friends tend to alter that relationship, either by taking it to the next level or by severing it. So each one of us goes through each stage when it comes to building an interpersonal relationship. And when we do build relationships, we need to use skills to do so. Okay? Now, if you guys have any questions about the 5 stages, please post any of those questions below, as we are watching the workshop with you guys and we can answer your questions. Here's a list of different interpersonal skills, starting with verbal communication, what we say and how we say it. Nonverbal communication, what we communicate without words. Right? So an example of that is body language. Listening skills, how we interpret both the verbal and nonverbal messages sent by others. Negotiation, working with others to find a mutually agreeable outcome. Problem solving, working with others to identify, define, and solve problems. Decision making, exploring and analyzing options to make sound decisions. Assertiveness, communicating our values, ideas, beliefs, opinions, needs, and wants freely. Now, think about it for a minute. Which one of these skills do you think you are great at? One? Some? All? You have 2 minutes to share if you feel like it. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's okay. But it started already, so go ahead and get started, you guys. Share. What skills do you think that you're great at? What things do you think you're great at? One of these skills? All of these skills? Some of these skills? Let me know. Four, three, two, one, and thank you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. So it looks like some of you guys think you're good at all of these skills or some of these skills. And that's okay. I have a surprise for you guys. You don't have to be an expert at every skill. And you don't have to be an expert because we all are continuously learning how to improve and do better on these skills, so that whatever relationships we get to, whatever situations we get into, we're always able to manage them with the best strategies we've learned on using these skills. Okay? Sweet. As we continue to work on and improve our interpersonal skills, we continue to search for relationship satisfaction. The social exchange theory and Rusbult's psychological professor, investment model shows that relationship satisfaction is based on three factors: rewards, costs, and comparison levels. Rewards refer to any aspects of the partner or relationship that are positive. Conversely, costs are the negative or unpleasant aspects of the partner or their relationship. Comparison level includes what each partner expects of the relationship. The comparison level is influenced by past relationships and general relationship expectations that are taught by family and friends. Social exchange theory and the investment model both theorize that relationships that are high in cost would be less satisfying than relationships that are low in cost. LDRs, long distance relationships, have a higher level of cost than normal relationships. Therefore, one would assume that LDRs are less satisfying than normal relationships. As previously stated, current research shows that individuals in LDRs are actually more satisfied with their relationships compared to individuals in normal relationships. This can be explained by unique aspects of the LDRs: how the individuals use relationship maintenance behaviors, and the attachment styles of the individuals in the relationships. Therefore, the costs and benefits of the relationship are subjective to the individual. And recent research implies that that people in LDRs tend to report lower costs and higher rewards in their relationship compared to people in normal relationships. Interesting. Oh, I missed a picture. Sorry, guys, 1 second. Sorry, guys. I'm just dealing with a little bit of a situation here. Let me get my PowerPoint back. Okay. I apologize. Moving on. When we are satisfied in our relationships, we can move on to better, more fulfilling experiences. Positive psychologists use the various terms flourishing, budding, blooming, blossoming relationships to describe interpersonal relationships that are not merely happy, but instead are characterized by intimacy, growth, and resilience. All of the wonderful aspects that you want in a relationship. So, what's the background? What's the full story on how we can tell our relationships are flourishing, budding, blooming, blossoming? Well, while traditional psychologists specializing in close relationships have focused on relationship dysfunction, positive psychology argues that relationship health is not merely the absence of relationship dysfunction, is not merely the absence of relationship dysfunction. I apologize. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of secure attachment and are maintained with love and purposeful positive relationship behaviors. Additionally, healthy relationships can be made to flourish. Positive psychologists are exploring what makes existing relationships flourish and what skills can be taught to partners to enhance their existing and future personal relationships. A social skills approach suggests that individuals differ in their degree of communication skill, which has consequences for their relationships. Relationships in which partners possess and enact relevant communication skills are more satisfying and stable than relationships in which partners lack appropriate communication. Communication is key in so many areas of a healthy relationship. Adult attachment and attachment theory. Healthy relationships are built on a foundation of secure attachments. Adult attachment models represent an internal set of expectations and preferences regarding relationship intimacy that guide behavior. Okay? So, secure adult attachment. Characterized by low attachment-related avoidance and anxiety, has numerous benefits. Within the situation of safe, secure attachments, people can pursue the best human functioning and flourishing. This is because social acts that reinforce feelings of attachment also stimulate the release of neurotransmitters such as oxytocin and endorphin, which alleviate stress and create feelings of happiness. Attachment theory can also be used as a means of explaining adult relationships. Secure attachment styles are characterized by low avoidance of intimacy and low anxiety over abandonment. Secure individuals are comfortable with intimacy and interdependence and are usually optimistic and social in everyday life. Securely attached individuals usually use their partners for emotion regulation, so they prefer to have their partners in close proximity. So cute. Moving on to preoccupied attachment styles. So, preoccupied individuals tend to be low on avoidance of intimacy and high on anxiety about abandonment. Preoccupied people are normally uneasy and vigilant towards any threat to the relationship and tend to be needy and jealous. Dismissing individuals, are low on anxiety over abandonment and high in avoidance of intimacy. Dismissing people are usually self-reliant and uninterested in intimacy and are independent and indifferent towards acquiring romantic partners. Okay, and our last style. Fearful attachment styled individuals are high in avoidance of intimacy and high in anxiety over abandonment, which means they rarely allow themselves to be in relationships. And if they do get into one, are very anxious about losing the partner. They are very fearful of rejection and mistrust of others and tend to be suspicious and shy in everyday life. Attachment styles are created during childhood but can adapt and evolve to become a different attachment style based on individual experiences. A bad breakup or a bad romantic situation can change someone from being in a secure attachment to insecure. On the contrary, a good romantic relationship can take a person from an avoidant attachment style to more of a secure attachment style. Good to know. Romantic love. Each of us has a particular adult attachment, or maybe even a couple, but the differences between people is what makes a great relationship. The capacity for love gives depth to human relationships, brings people closer to each other physically and emotionally, and makes people think openly about themselves and the world. Stages of romantic interpersonal relationships can also be characterized more generally by the following: attraction, initiation, development, sustaining versus terminating. That's the terminating part. Let's break down each of these different categories, okay? Starting with attraction. Attraction is planned or automatic attraction can occur between acquaintances, co-workers, lovers, etc. Be it based on sexual arousal, intellectual stimulation, or respect. Studies have shown that attraction can be subject to influence based on context and externally induced arousal, with the caution that participants be unaware of the source of their arousal. A study by some psychologists induced arousal through physical exercise and found that participants rated erotic pictures highly 4 minutes after exercise. When no longer realized aroused by exercise, then either immediately after when arousal and awareness were greater, or 10 minutes later when exercise induced arousal had gone away. As supported by a series of studies, it was shown that a previous state of arousal can heighten reactions to effective stimuli. 2. Initiation. Moving on, there are several objectives in the initiation of a new relationship. One commonly studied factor is physical proximity. The MIT Westgate studies famously showed that greater physical proximity between incoming students in a university residential hall led to greater relationship initiation. More specifically, only 10% of those living on opposite ends of Westgate West considered each other friends, while more than 40% of those living in adjacent apartments considered each other friends. The theory behind this effect is that proximity assists chance encounters, which leads to initiation of new relationships. This is closely related to the mere exposure effect, which states that the more an individual is exposed to a person or object, the more he likes it. Another important factor in the initiation of new relationships is similarity. Put simply, individuals tend to be attracted to and start new relationships with those who are similar to them. These similarities can include beliefs, rules, interests, culture, education, etc. Individuals seek relationships with like others because like others are most likely to validate shared beliefs and perspectives, thus assisting interactions that are positive, rewarding, and without conflict. 3. Stage 3 is the development of interpersonal relationships, and it can be further split into committed versus non-committed romantic relationships, which have different behavioral characteristics. In a study by Miguel and Buss in 2011, men and women were found to differ in a variety of mate retention strategies depending on whether their romantic relationships were committed or not. More committed relationships by both genders were characterized by greater resource display, appearance enhancement, love and care, and verbal signs of possession. In contrast, less committed relationships by both genders were characterized by greater jealousy induction. In terms of gender differences, men use greater resource display than women, who use more appearance enhancement as a mate retention strategy than men. Interesting. So the ladies would dress up and show out, whereas the men would look for different resources to display their attraction. That's crazy how it works with men and women. After a relationship has had time to develop, it enters into a phase where it will be sustained if it is not otherwise terminated. Some important qualities of strong, enduring relationships include emotional understanding and effective communication between partners. Research has also shown that idealization of one's partner is linked to strong interpersonal bonds. Idealization is the pattern of overestimating a romantic partner's positive virtues or underestimating a partner's negative faults in comparison to the partner's own self-evaluation. In general, individuals who idealize their romantic partners tend to report higher levels of relationship satisfaction. So if you imagine what kind of partner you want, that's kind of going to boost the happiness and the satisfaction in your relationship. Other research has examined the impact of joint activity on relationship quality. In particular, studies have shown that romantic partners that engage in a novel and exciting physical activity together are more likely to report higher levels of relationship satisfaction than partners that complete an ordinary activity. Breaking down interpersonal relationships isn't as easy as it looks, but luckily for us, we are made to handle it. And it shows with this theory. In his triangular theory of love, psychologist Robert Sternberg puts forward that love is a mix of three components: some passion or physical attraction, intimacy or feelings of closeness, and commitment, involving the decision to initiate and sustain a relationship. The presence of all three components describes complete love, the most durable type of love. In addition, the presence of intimacy and passion in marital relationships predicts marital satisfaction. Also, commitment is the best predictor of relationship satisfaction, especially in long-term relationships. Positive consequences of being in love include increased self-esteem and self-worth. Now, the triangular theory of love isn't the only theory out there in regards to interpersonal relationships. The mindfulness theory of relationships shows how closeness in relationships may be enhanced. Minding is the reciprocal knowing process involving the non-stop interrelated thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of persons in a relationship. 5 components of minding include, pulling them up, guys, knowing and being known, seeking to understand the partner, making relationship enhancing attributions for behaviors, giving the benefit of the doubt, accepting and respecting, empathy and social skills are included here, maintaining reciprocity, active participation in relationship enhancement, continuity in minding, persisting in mindfulness. In all interpersonal relationships, those who feel secure are open with their emotional expression. Those who are anxious, unsure, don't express themselves and process them internally might lead to immune system disorders. Those who are avoidant, let me reread this because this is a little weird. Okay. In all interpersonal relationships, those who feel secure are open with their emotional expression. Those who are anxious, unsure, don't express them and process them internally, which might lead to immune system disorders. And those who are avoidant direct their emotions onto others. There we go. Those who have similar coping systems have a positive relationship status. Those who are open with their emotional expression with appropriateness is found to have a positive well-being. Cultural, personal characteristics and experiences are influencing factors in behavioral aspects of interpersonal relationships. There we go. When it comes to applying skills to romantic interpersonal relationships, Researchers are developing an approach to couples therapy that moves partners from patterns of repeated conflict to patterns of more positive, comfortable exchanges. Goals of therapy include development of social and interpersonal skills. Expressing gratitude and sharing appreciation for a partner is the primary means for creating a positive relationship. Positive marital counseling also emphasizes mindfulness. The further study of flourishing relationships could shape the future of premarital and marital counseling as well. There is a lot of research, studies, and theories on interpersonal relationships. So much so that some researchers criticize positive psychology for studying positive processes separately from negative processes. Positive psychologists argue that positive and negative processes in relationships may be better understood as functionally independent, not as opposites of each other. But hey, there is always some kind of difference of opinion when it comes to not only interpersonal relationships, but all relationships, guys. Wow. Well, with that said, everybody, this is going to be surprising, but thank you for joining us for today's workshop, everybody. We are always happy to have you all participating with us every week. Please join us for our workshop discussion on Thursday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. We also want you all to check our page as we tend to have postings of positions that are available, employment events, and upcoming job fairs. If you need access to our YouTube page, please just ask us so we can give you direct access. It's available to everyone. I also want to remind you all to like our videos after you've watched them. This is one of the best ways we have of you all having watched the videos we post if you aren't joining us during the watch party time. With that said, guys, just a reminder, please make sure that you are watching the workshops because we are creating them for you. If you have any questions about accessing the workshops, please, again, ask us, your staff, for any support in doing so. I'm so happy you were all able to join me today. I'm glad we were able to get the second part of our workshop done quickly and swiftly. That's good news for us. So excited to have you guys join us in Microsoft Teams or Zooms for our workshops that are upcoming. Please stay tuned in with your employment specialist specifically in regards to getting signed up for Microsoft Teams or Zoom over the next month. If anybody has any questions, again, please post, text, call. There's so many different ways of communicating. Please reach out to us with any questions you may have. And any questions about today's relationship workshop, I will be answering them in discussion after the workshop since we've had a little bit of a short one today. I'll take 15 minutes of questions after today's workshop. So specifically focused to you guys, I'll be available. So if any of you have any questions, I will be making a post and you can drop them under there. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your week and we can't wait to see you on Thursday. Thank you. Bye-bye.